Right after escaping the burning mansion, Grace collapses on the ground, completely exhausted, barely holding on. The police arrive. Paramedics rush her into an ambulance, and as they try to stabilize her, things suddenly take a turn. Her pulse drops, and just like that, she flatlines. They shock her once, and nothing happens. They try again, and this time, she gasps back to life. And even though she's breathing again, something about the moment feels off, like the nightmare isn't done with her yet. When Grace wakes up, she's no longer in danger. Or at least that's what it should feel like. But instead, she finds herself handcuffed to a hospital bed. Confused, weak, and trying to make sense of everything, she looks up to see Detective Roger standing right in front of her. And from the look on his face, it's clear he doesn't believe her story. To him, this isn't a survivor. This is the only person who walked out alive from a house full of dead people. And that makes her the prime suspect. Just when the situation couldn't get any worse, a nurse walks in and mentions that Grace has a visitor. And the moment she sees who it is, everything shifts. It's her sister, Faith. Someone she hasn't seen in years. Faith walks in confidently, talking about her life, her job, her relationship, almost like she's trying to prove that she's doing just fine without Grace. And Grace, still confused, asks the obvious question. How do you even know about my husband? Faith pauses for a second, then casually reveals that she once saw them together at a supermarket. A small moment, but one that connects their lives in a way Grace didn't expect. As they talk, we learn more about their past. They grew up in foster care, and for a long time, they only had each other. But everything changed when Grace turned 18 and left for New York, chasing a better life. And in doing so, she left Faith behind. Faith was only 15 at the time, and that moment clearly stayed with her. So when she asks Grace what really happened that night, Grace hesitates, because explaining something like that sounds insane. But eventually, she tells her everything. And after hearing it all, Faith doesn't react with sympathy. Instead, she simply says,
"You are so going to jail."
Meanwhile, in another part of the world, a man named Chester Danforth receives shocking news. The Ludomes family is gone, completely wiped out. But one detail stands out. The bride survived. And that one detail changes everything. He immediately sends out a message, and across different countries, China, Spain, America, England, powerful families receive it. And instead of fear, they're excited. Because to them, this isn't a tragedy. It's an opportunity. Chester gathers his children and explains the situation, making it clear that the power, the control, and the seat now belong to Grace. And that's something they can't allow. So instead of protecting their father, they turn on him. Without hesitation, they suffocate him. And just like that, the next phase of the game begins. Back at the hospital, Grace is being escorted out when suddenly, chaos erupts. A man appears out of nowhere, armed with a knife, and he goes straight for her. He stabs Detective Roger instantly, and now it's clear. This was planned. Grace and Faith run, hiding under a desk, barely breathing as the attacker searches for them. But just as he's about to strike, he explodes. Right in front of them. Faith is completely shocked, but Grace understands what just happened. The ritual hasn't started yet, and that means more are coming. Before they can escape, smoke fills the hallway, and within seconds, they both collapse. When they wake up, they're no longer safe. They're back in the game. Grace finds herself in a massive mansion, surrounded by powerful figures from different families. And this time, it's clear, this isn't just one group. This is a global system. And now, Faith is part of it too. The lawyer explains the rules clearly. Another game of hide and seek. Survive until dawn and she wins everything. Refuse, and Faith dies. So even though she doesn't want to play, she has no choice. They wake up in the forest, handcuffed together, confused and disoriented, and before they can even think, the hunt begins. As the hunt intensifies, the sisters barely get a moment to breathe, and just when they think they've created some distance, a drone suddenly appears above them, scanning their position in real time. Grace immediately reacts, grabbing whatever she can find to take it down. But before she can do anything, one of the hunters shoots it out of the sky. And that's when things get worse. Because now, every hunter knows exactly where they are. Without wasting a second, the sisters take off running toward the woods, while gunshots echo behind them, getting closer with every step. They eventually hit a dead end, a massive wall blocking their path, and for a brief moment, panic sets in. There's nowhere to climb, nowhere to hide, and nowhere to go. So they stop just for a second, trying to catch their breath, trying to think. But that moment doesn't last long, because one of the hunters suddenly appears behind them, moving fast, silent, and precise. Before he can strike, Faith reacts instinctively, pushing Grace out of the way, and somehow, they manage to escape again. Desperate, they run toward an abandoned building nearby, hoping to find something, anything, that could help them survive. But just as they reach it, a sniper locks onto them. A shot rings out, and barely misses. Then another, and another. They run inside just in time, ducking behind cover as bullets tear through the space around them. And that's when Faith notices something. A gas tank. Thinking quickly, she starts a fire, letting the smoke spread rapidly, filling the entire building. The hunters outside notice immediately, but before they can react, the gas tank explodes. The blast shakes everything. Flames burst outward, forcing everyone back. And in that chaos, the sisters escape again, but not without consequences. Grace is injured, badly. They find a way inside the building, locking themselves away for a moment, and finally, for the first time since the hunt began, they slow down. Faith carefully removes pieces of glass from Grace's body, cleaning her wounds with whatever she can find. And, in that quiet moment, the tension between them softens. Grace admits she wanted Faith at her wedding, that she never truly let her go. But Faith, holding back tears, reveals the truth. Her life isn't as perfect as she made it seem. She lied, because she didn't want Grace to think she needed her. Before they can process that moment, another hunter finds them. This time it's close, brutal, messy. They fight back with everything they have, and after a desperate struggle, they manage to overpower him. And instead of running, they finish it. Using one of the machines in the room, they trap him inside, and as it starts running, his screams fill the space before suddenly stopping. For the first time, they've taken control. Grace finds a phone and immediately calls for help. 911 picks up. Hope returns, but only for a second, because the call is intercepted. The hunters were listening the entire time, and now they know exactly where she's heading next. Soon after, one of the hunters approaches them, not to kill, but to negotiate. She offers Grace a way out. A deal. Marry into the family, join them, and survive. Faith begs her to accept it, but Grace refuses, because she already knows what that life looks like, and she's not going back. What follows is chaos. A sudden mistake leads to one hunter killing another, and because of the rules, they begin to explode, one after another. A chain reaction of death. And in the middle of it, Grace and Faith escape again. As they run, emotions finally boil over. Faith accuses Grace again. Grace apologizes. And for the first time, they're honest with each other. No lies. No pride. Just truth. And somehow, that gives them strength. But just as things seem to settle, they're captured again. Dragged back. Forced into one final game. A ritual. A wedding. But this time, Grace has a plan. At the altar, surrounded by everyone, Grace plays along. She pretends. Waits. And, at the perfect moment, she strikes.
Not against the rules to kill family members. Thank you for that.
Turning the entire ritual against them. In the end, she gains control of everything. The power, the ring, the system. And instead of keeping it, she destroys it, throws it all away. And as the sun rises, the entire system collapses. Grace and Faith walk away, together, alive, free. And for the first time, the game is over. And if you made it this far, you already know this story was insane, and there's more coming. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next recap. And if you enjoyed this video, drop a like. It really helps push the video out to more people. Also, let me know in the comments what movie you want next, because trust me, we're just getting started.